Section with
Well.
and Nikki Florez on Dash Talk X.
Well,
Dash Talk X.
this is us. We're back. We're back.
New season.
New
digs.
Hey, check out the deets on this place. Yeah, a new studio. Dash Radio is setting it off with the new studio. We're so honored, first of all, to be back at Dash. We are now on Voice of Reason, not Dash Talk X.
That's right.
Voice of Reason. Radio on Dash Radio. So we're excited to be here. As you know, I'm Senator Isadore Hall.
I'm Nikki Florez.
Here on the intersection. And we've got so much to talk about. Make sure you tune yourselves to 323-503-2070. Give us a call, 323-503-2070. Join the conversation. There's a lot going on, and I don't want none of it, but we're going to talk about it today on the intersection. Let's go.
Overnight, a second death in the U.S. as the number of confirmed cases of coronavirus across the country continues to rise. 2 people in the Seattle area have died after contracting the virus. 2 men, one in his 50s, another in his 70s, both with underlying health issues, who had not recently traveled abroad.
What we're seeing is the tip of the iceberg.
A state of emergency issued in Washington state where 13 patients have been diagnosed with COVID-19, including a postal worker and a high school student. This nursing home in Kirkland, the source of 6 of the confirmed cases. Health officials say at least 50 more patients are being evaluated.
We've just seen another person loaded up into this ambulance to be taken to the hospital.
Researchers in Washington telling ABC News their analysis of samples of the virus strongly suggests it's been spreading in this state for the past 6 weeks. In New York City, a woman in her 30s is self-quarantined in her Manhattan apartment, contracting the virus after traveling to Iran. New York's mayor tweeting, "We have said it was a matter of when, not if, there would be a positive case of coronavirus in New York." In Rhode Island, a high school is shut down for the week. 2 people testing positive for the virus there after returning from a
So,
trip.
as you folks know, this corona stuff is no joke. It's no joke.
No, it's real. It's here.
Spreading. It's spreading, and people are dying literally all over the place. I have a sneaky suspicion that we're going to spend a little time on this today because there's so much to talk about, and there's so much, in my opinion, that's not being talked about.
For sure.
Right? And I think we've got to get to the bottom of it, particularly here in America. We're not talking about it, and I think there's like an undercurrent of secrecy. I don't believe in what do you call that? Not coincidences, but secrecy, or when there's like something being plotted. Conspiracy. Yeah, I don't believe in conspiracy theories and things like that. I don't believe there's no conspiracy. I just think that we're not being told the truth about this.
No, we're not being told the truth because the president is controlling the information that's being given, and he believes that this will reflect badly on him, which it is because of how he's handling
Right.
it. Nobody is saying he out here injecting people with the coronavirus. Right. Like, that's definitely not the case. But how you handle it from there is it's been a shit show.
It's been a shit show.
Like, they're not handling it correctly. Not enough people are getting tested, and it's going to spread. And they keep trying to say, oh, well, it's only going to affect, older people and people with, serious pre-existing chronic conditions. And that's a lot of Americans. That's like half of our population. So you could act like it ain't nobody, but that's a lot of people. And most of us have somebody in our family who fits one or both, or many people in our family who fit those qualifications. So it's something that we should take seriously. If you're somebody who's young, who it might not kill you, you might pass it on to somebody.
Absolutely.
Who you love and care about.
And
so that's why we need to take care and get all the information from the health officials.
Science. Believe the science. It's like when we got here to Dash, and I'm not going to, hey, you know this. When we got to AQ, when we got to Dash, the first thing I did, what was the first thing I did when we got here?
You wiped everything down, Senator.
I wiped
top to bottom.
I wiped everything down. I have my sanitization stuff. I have gloves. I've got hand sanitizer. I've got Lysol wipes. I'm wiping everything down, which is what we are supposed to do. I canceled my trip I'm supposed to be heading out to Dallas on Thursday. Canceled my trip to Dallas. Mom's canceled. Mom's like, I ain't going. I'm over 70. You know, she's like, no Dallas for me. No Dallas. You know, I thought she was speaking foreign language. No Dallas. You know, she's like, no Dallas.
I mean, better safe than sorry.
Better safe than
unnecessary
sorry.
traveling is it's not necessary. You know, don't take those risks.
Right.
And this is really just, it's not like you have to do anything crazy.
Right.
This is really just like they're saying, it's flu season protocol. If you're in a shared workspace, and I always worked in a radio station, it was always like time to wipe things down because the person before you might be sick, their kids might be sick, then they sick, then they coughing on the mic. You know, all of that. It gets passed on. So it's the same way. Just be mindful of your own germs and other people's germs. It don't mean you got to get a mask just to walk up and down the street. It's not that serious. If you're sick, then maybe you might want to, so that the rest of us don't get sick.
Exactly.
If you are sick, stay home. Keep your kids home, which is hard to tell people to do, but it's necessary. It's for the greater good of other people. And we're gonna talk about something that's related to that.
We're gonna talk about this today. Let's go.
I'm going to be announcing exactly right now that I'm going to be putting our Vice President, Mike Pence, in charge. And Mike will be working with the professionals, doctors, and everybody else that's working. The team is brilliant. I spent a lot of time with the team over the last couple of weeks, but they're totally brilliant, and we're doing really well. And Mike is going to be in charge, and Mike will report back to me.
And I look forward.
Give us a call, 323-503-2070. Give us a call, 323-503-2070. Give us a call, 323-503-2070. And tell us what you think about what's going on. So little Mike... Little Mike Pence is because he likes to call so the president called Mike Bloomberg Little Mike. So is that also applicable to Mike Pence?
I don't know. He had me thinking Bloomberg was like my height, like 5'4" or something. I had to look it up. I was like, how tall is this man? Oh, he's 5'9". I mean, it's not tall, but then the president is like 6'3", so he's just a jerk. He's just jerking around. So, but poor Mike Pence. Poor little Mike Pence.
I think that's right. I think that's right. And you say that why?
I say that because, one, he's got to get up there, and what he's really there for is to laud the president.
That's right.
I just want to shout out, thank you, Mr. President.
Right.
The president is really taking this seriously, guys.
The president.
He's really got us together, guys. He's meeting with us every day, guys. And I just want to say the president is he's really taking it. And then, in case anything goes wrong, he's the one who was the head of the situation.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Right. I think it's deflection.
It's definitely deflection.
Right. And it's interesting because he's doing these everyday briefs, and
after they shut the whole press room down, now they're opening it back up.
Right, they shut the press room down. Now they're opening the press room up for the briefs,
which they're late for every time.
Always late, always late. And what are the press briefings for? I appreciate doing the press brief, but if you're going to say the same thing every day.
Right.
The president's leadership. I want to thank the president's leadership.
He's got together a coalition of great scientists here and the greatest minds in America.
Right. And then he says this. The press says, "Well, Mr. Vice President, what about? Well, I'm going to let so and so. You want to say something about this?" And say absolutely nothing.
To his credit, at least he's trying to pass it on and give this, facade. I'm going to say facade that they can really tell us the real. Because every time somebody gets close to saying something, you see the eyes, you see the looks behind them, you see and I just want to clear up what he just said. There is no reason to worry, everybody. It's just all the old people and people who are sick already. Don't trip. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, if you have diabetes, if you have a heart condition, if your belly hurts, if your eye is wounded, if you have a broken arm, you need to worry.
Right.
But if you have none of those things, go ahead and conduct normal business. By the way, That is, as Nikki said, that's like 80% of the population that has some type of health condition that's going on.
If you're healthy, that's your family member.
That's your right, right.
I'm sorry,
right?
It can't just be brushed under like
that. My mom,
it only affects them.
My mom, I refuse to allow her, and I'm trying to get her to stay in the house as much as possible. She needs to stay in the house as well. She's in great health, but she's 76 years old. 76 years old. And so, and by the way, she can dance herself out of any room. I mean, she's bad, but she's 76 years old, and I don't want her in the shopping centers. I don't want her in the concert halls. I don't want her at the parks and doing yoga with seniors. I don't want her around that community because it's not that. She doesn't want to be. She shouldn't be around. We don't know what people have.
Right. We don't know what people have, and I mean, just like with the flu, you can't trust the next person to have disinfected. So everybody, make sure you're doing that yourself.
Absolutely.
You need to carry your own hand sanitizer, and don't go buying up all the sanitizer if you can't use it all. Like, let some other people get some hand sanitizer out here. You're gonna be the only one clean. You still gonna end up getting it anyways with your silly self.
Okay, Nikki, I'll give you some of the ones I bought.
People been crazy stockpiling. Crazy stockpiling. Not like don't get any. Please get some, but just,
I'll give you some of the ones.
Think about your fellow man. That's what it really is about. Think about your fellow man.
Right.
You want to stay healthy and you want other people to be healthy. And this is something that is spread from person to person, community members to community members. So if we're taking care of ourselves, then you're also helping to take care of your fellow man.
That's right. And it's a community responsibility is what we're calling that, right? Being responsible not just for you, but also being responsible for your community. And that's why, and we're talking about this later on in the show, so many folks right now are saying, hey, we're canceling gigs. We're canceling different type of gigs because we don't want to be responsible for someone catching this virus.
Right.
In fact, and I believe it was Washington State. This is not a clip. We've got some other clips we're going to play, but I think it's in Washington State where they're saying you can. I'm going to give you my password to my computer. They're saying that 250 people, if anywhere 250 or more people, Washington State banned gatherings more than 250 people.
Yeah, and that makes sense there because they're having a real epidemic right there.
Right.
It's based in that community in Washington, in Seattle. My husband was supposed to be doing some flight to Seattle, and it was like,
I don't think so.
But that got canceled. So I was like, thank God.
Because you're coming home.
Like you're going to have to quarantine in the car. You can't come inside. But yeah, I mean, they're having a real issue there. So of course the community restrictions should be a little tighter there for sure, and it should be anywhere where we have a known outbreak like that.
Sure.
So I mean, every city doesn't need to have don't meet if it's over gatherings of 250, but where it is going down right there in Washington State, it definitely needs to be. And I'm glad that they are taking the precautions. I hope they've got everybody who was in that nursing home tested. Yeah. I don't know what was taking them. So just test everybody in that nursing home.
Just test everybody. Why play the
game? We
need
to be sent. If we're making tests right now and we're trying to send them all over, send them to the places where it's most needed first.
Right.
We got to prioritize in this situation, and that's what we need more of.
Well, I heard, and you're right, Nikki, because I heard in this morning, I heard Mayor Durkin say that there's 1,100 cases potentially. It was on CNN this morning. And I was up having my morning's coffee, and I was watching this stuff. And she said, on CNN, she said, Mayor Durkin said, there were 1,100 cases there. That's not even big. And she said, I have it. Look at it on CNN. And she said, potentially, uncontrolled, in 4 weeks, it could be 70,000 people. Mm-hmm. That was striking to me.
Yeah.
And yet, fidgeting around, not giving people real information. Now, they're saying that they're moving out test kits, right? They're saying they're moving out test kits. What they're not saying to you, what they're not saying to the community. They're going to press conference, we're putting 1 million test kits into the hands of the American people. And then by the next 3 weeks, we'll have 5 million out. That's a lie. Because the test kits have to be prepped before they're even available to be used. That takes an additional month or so for them to be tested. So the test kits that are being sent out are not yet ready to be used once they reach their destination.
Yeah. And they need to get on it. And I mean, they can only go so fast because it's science. Certain things can't be rushed, and they have to go through testing. And so hopefully they're accelerating everything that they can accelerate, but we don't need to send anything out that's not going to be viable either.
Right.
A test that's not going to work, or be a false positive or a false negative or whatever it is. So hopefully they're getting it right, because we got to get these tests out to people who need it.
Well, we have to get it out to people who need it, and not only do we have to get it out to people who need it. Additionally, we've got to get this vaccine on point. Now, Trump said that the vaccine would take 2 months, but now his own scientists and the experts are saying that this is going to take a year to a year and a half.
And thank God they spoke up in that meeting and didn't let him get away with that, like he usually gets to get away with telling a lie. They were like, no, this is about national health and security. Like, we ain't going to let you get by on this one. It's real, and it's going to take about a year and a half before we have a vaccine. And then, he's confused, but he knows so much.
Well, but why then would he put the American people in? I'm ignorant, okay? So maybe, Nikki, you can explain this to me. Why would he put the American people in harm's way with that type of messaging?
He's only worried about himself.
Right.
He's only worried about himself and how he looks.
Right. And I think that's right. Let's listen to what he said.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Has he been tested? Have you been tested?
I have not been tested for the coronavirus.
Has the president been tested?
He's been in contact with people who were in proximity to somebody who had the virus.
Let me be sure and get you an answer to that. I honestly don't know the answer to the question, but we'll refer that question, and we will get you an answer from the White House physician very quickly.
You just said that you have not been tested. You said you don't know if the president has been tested, but today we learned that the president has interacted with 2 lawmakers who have interacted with someone who is positive for coronavirus. So why not get tested?
Well, I just simply don't know what the White House physician has recommended to the president, but I promise.
See, at least he got good customer service skills. You know what? I don't have the answer, but I'm going to get back to you right away.
Customer service. Why don't you have that product on the thing? I don't know. Let me get back to you.
Right? That sounds strange, but perhaps he has, and I will find out and confirm and get somebody to get you that answer.
Yeah, why not? But the president should have been tested. I think he should have been tested. I think Vice President Pence should also be tested.
I'm surprised he ain't asking for a test as the president.
Because he's
with
supposed to be germaphobe. Right? Yeah.
They kill me with that germaphobe
stuff.
Sure he is.
No, it's interesting that he says he hasn't been tested when everyone around him are self-quarantined. All the members of Congress that were around him and the others and the like.
Let's talk about that.
They have all been self-quarantined, right? And let's go to that. Let's go to the next clip because we're going to talk about that. Thank you, Nikki. I love you, Nikki.
United is telling us that the 3 passengers that were removed from the flight, they're still under investigation right now to see if there will be any charges. As for that passenger that was coughing and sneezing, well, they're telling us it was just allergies. They did check for fever, and that passenger was allowed to continue on to Newark. We are live in the high country. Matt Kroschel covering Colorado First.
All right, that wasn't the clip, but that's okay. That was about that the community spread that people are so concerned about. There was somebody who was coughing and sneezing who just had allergies, but they were coughing and sneezing, and there was 3 passengers who got real wild on the flight, stopped listening to flight attendant commands, which is against the law, which is against federal law, really. So they had to divert the plane. Where were they going? They were going from Colorado to Jersey.
Right.
They had to divert the plane to Denver.
Right.
Because these 3 passengers was acting up about somebody sneezing and coughing.
Up notches.
Now, it's the flu. Like, it's got to be somebody who looks like they got the flu. You know what I mean? They got to have a fever.
Right.
Like, you can tell when somebody is this sick. So please don't be trying to, harass people who are sneezing or coughing.
Just be nice. Be nice. Don't do that. 323-503-2070. 323-503-27 negative. 323-503-2070. Give us a call. So with that, I got to tell you this, Nikki. I was yesterday at this place down in down south. It's called Fiesta Martin. It's a Mexican food restaurant down there. And so I was having a meeting down there. And after I finished, my friend who I was meeting with and the waiter, the server there, we were tallying up the bill. We were splitting the bill, The bill was like $18, but we're splitting the bill. Like, you pay yours and I pay mine. I wasn't comping the meal.
Right.
It
wasn't like when me and you go out.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? No, you pay yours, I'll pay mine. And so after I did that, I felt this little like some lint or something, got in my nose.
Oh no.
Or something.
Little tickle.
So I sneezed. You thought all hell broke loose in there. People were like, oh, bro. The waiter looking at me, my friend looking at me, everybody like, oh, wait, whoa. It's like, dude.
Yeah, people sneeze and cough from time to time when they ain't sick, y'all.
Right,
please sneeze into your elbow.
Yeah. They thought I had the cooties.
And away from everybody's food.
But people are tense. And the reason why people are tense, it goes back to your point, Nikki, is that lack of information makes people draw to their own conclusions about things.
Yep.
So people are tensed, and when people are tense, they basically, pull from their own knowledge of what they believe is true.
Well, if we feel like the government isn't protecting us, we on our own out here.
Right.
Everybody stockpile sanitizer and bleach because it's gonna be a rough one.
Right. No, you're right. And so yeah, cover your mouth.
Not with your hands. Because then you're going to try and shake somebody.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing shaking. So here's what we're doing. No.
Elbow bumps.
No shaking.
Fist bumps.
No shaking, none of that. I'm doing this. Here's what I'm doing if you see me. Yes. Here's my move. My move is like this. Nice to see you.
We bowing out here.
Oh yeah, cross your arms because that shows.
I'm gonna start curtsying.
That shows a sense of respect. Cross your heart. Nice to see you. Hey, I love you. Nice to see you. So everybody out there, when they see me doing that, doesn't mean I'm disrespecting. It just means the same thing. It's all the same. Hey, nice to see you.
It's going to be a lot of head nods.
But by the way, this is actually better than a handshake. Let me tell you why. Because I can shake your hand. I have different ways of shaking. I can shake a very firm handshake. That I can be like, that's a handshake like I really don't want to be by with you. You know what I'm saying?
Trying to break somebody's hand.
Or I can shake you like a little soft, a little stern. That means compassion. But that's just you get everything.
So pass it on. Everybody start bowing.
Yeah. And by the way, before we move on to the next clip, and Nikki, tell me if I'm talking too much. Before we move on to the next clip, I do have to tell you that I went to Smart and Final, and I do go to the grocery store, yes, and I do shop on my own, yes, I do. And when I tell you this is real. There was no toilet tissue. Mm-hmm. There was no paper towels.
Yep.
There was no water. There were none of these items. I'm like, this is real.
Yeah.
I mean, there was nothing. So I had to go. I had to go online and buy stuff. So I bought hand sanitizers, gloves, Lysol wipes. I bought a mask, several. I bought I bought juices and waters and sprays, and I bought 5 bodysuits.
I know where I'm going when it goes down. I'm gonna be like, let me in.
Yeah, and I already told people, don't come to my house. Don't come to my house because I'm not storing anything at my house. Yeah, I bought 5 bodysuits, hazmat bodysuits. I'm serious. Speaking of hazmat bodysuits, Naomi Campbell, if you look at Naomi Campbell on your Instagram right now, Naomi Campbell was on Instagram, one was on CNN, the website, where she was in the airport with her bodysuit on.
Okay. All right. See, y'all taking it too far.
I don't think so.
Y'all taking it too
far. No.
I mean, you're going to have it if we need it, but don't nobody
See,
need it.
boom, look, right there.
Okay.
Look at this.
All right.
What is that? What does that say? Thank you, Q. What is that?
Safety first, next level. She's also, a model, so this is about fashion.
Oh, please. That's a DuPont bodysuit.
This is
the
about
same
fashion.
one I had.
She's doing the most.
Hey, she's being smart. You see this? She's being smart. And I have mine too. You know why? I've got too much stuff to do than to be playing around and playing games with people.
You don't even fall into the 2 categories of people.
What do you mean I'm black? Black people fall in every category.
Okay, next clip. All right.
Well, Mike and Kay, initially we were going to speak to the father of the patient over the phone, but we were later told the family is just too emotional at this time. And their biggest issue is with this idea that they broke some kind of mandated self-quarantine when the father and the sister's patient went to Villa Duchene's father-daughter dance. And when the sister actually went to school last Thursday and Friday, they said they could not have broken a self-quarantine order because they never received a self-quarantine order. The family says that they made the decision on their own to self-quarantine their daughter, and that the only person who had contact with her was her mother. They said they were never told to self-quarantine, not when she called the county's coronavirus hotline, and actually not even the day that she was told that she was positive. They said that every measure that they took to keep themselves safe was a decision that they made on their own. Now, a question I did have for them is that if they knew that there was a chance that their daughter could have the coronavirus, why send her sister to school? Why go to the dance? The family attorney says they just didn't have the information. Here's what he had to say.
They weren't just ignoring this. This is something they were paying close attention.
So there you go, right?
I mean, I would love to believe them, but believing them means like, dang, it's some health officials out here who are really dropping the ball, one.
Right.
Secondly, everything I've seen on television is if you think you've come into contact with somebody who has coronavirus. Now, they know for sure that their daughter does have coronavirus.
Right.
And I don't know what this whole self-quarantine for if you have it came from.
Right, yeah, if you have it.
I've never heard that suggestion. If you got it, then they're supposed to be quarantined for sure. But the self-quarantine is for people who think and are on the cusp and maybe might have it. That would be everybody in that house.
Right. So why?
It's not worth it to, like, I'm sorry that your daughter was going to miss out on this dance or whatever, but it's not worth it for the safety of the rest of the children, for the rest of the parents and their grandparents of the kids who go to these schools. Like, it's not cool to just be taking such a risk like that.
That's a big risk, Nikki. In fact, the guy from New York, the attorney from New York, he was an attorney. He had the virus, and he impacted 50 people.
Right.
That one attorney, 50 people caught this virus because of him.
Right.
That child you placed in harm's risk, but also others in harm's risk by bringing her around.
All of those students and all of their families.
And speaking of which,
so they went ahead and closed the school.
As they should have. It was the right thing to do.
School once they found out. And I'm sorry for this family going through all this, but you knew that you guys had it in your house.
That was a selfish move.
It was really selfish.
And that's what Nikki is basically saying, is what I'm getting ready to say. She's saying exactly what I'm echoing or dittoing is, if you know something is wrong, don't put others in harm's way.
Right. Whether it's the regular flu or coronavirus.
Well, it can be herpes.
Please tell your partners.
Please. I don't care what it is.
It don't matter if you're not having an outbreak.
Just be honest and deal with the issue. Georgetown, Harvard, Columbia, Stanford, MIT, colleges all across the country, USC, I hear to be next, are shutting down. Why? Because they are now going into virtual instruction and social distancing because they're taking precautions the right way.
Right.
Elk Grove up in Sacramento shut down. Long Beach, state of emergency. People at Cal State Long Beach, 10, 15, 20 people have been self-quarantined there.
Yeah.
You know, they're all over the place. Schools are being smart. There's nothing wrong with saying we're shutting down our school because we don't want you to get sick.
Right.
This is a pandemic, and we've got to be serious about it. One thing before we move on, I don't know if it's the melanin in black people. I don't know what it is, but there's only 2 cases in Africa. Move on? Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll move on.
The Intersection is live on Dash Talk X
with Senator Isadore Hall and Nikki Florez. Dash Talk X.
Tonight, a major shakeup on the eve of Super Tuesday. Pete Buttigieg and now Amy Klobuchar both dropping out and heading to Dallas to endorse Joe Biden.
You know, just a few days ago, the pundits declared my campaign dead. But then along came South Carolina.
The former vice president's landslide win reshaping the race. Buttigieg ending.
So that was last week when you saw the rise of Joe Biden. And for all intents and purposes, changed the whole dynamic of the Democratic election process. James Clyburn, my fraternity brother, great friend, he set it off, I think.
He sure did. They ain't calling him the kingmaker for nothing.
Hey.
He was like, listen up, black people. Come with me. And everybody was like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Coming, sir.
He set it off. And he came in there with the Q Dog super cape on. You know, with the Q Sci-Fi super cape, you know.
He did that.
He did that. You got to give him credit. And look what the power of one man was able to do because it was the right thing to do. Some would disagree. That's fine. But it was the right thing to do to unify people and to bring this thing to a quick close so we can take control of the process. Whether it was Bernie, whether it was Biden, the fact of the matter is that he drew this thing to a close so people can start dropping out and start coalescing around a particular candidate.
He had to. Biden wasn't going to be able to do it himself. Boom.
I said, see, you were. I know. I saw you walking with the Sanders thing, and you know, around campaigning for Sanders. Okay, but that wasn't going haunt. That wasn't going haunt. Sanders was not going to make it through. Sanders was looking for a revolution that wasn't happening. Sanders was looking for young people that did not show up. And let me tell you my theory behind this.
They ain't show up for nobody.
True, but he is the one that said he is starting a revolution with young people. Mm-hmm. Here's what I believe happened with Sanders, okay? And I thank him for his service. I thank him for his service. And I mean, any elected official that's willing to go through the stuff that elected officials go through, thank you for your service. Because I have all understand the stuff that you have to go through. But Sanders said he was going to start a revolution 6 years ago. And you had college students getting out of college 6 years ago, right, that believed in the revolution. And these college students have now gone on to tech jobs and jobs making $160,000 a year. 6 years later, Sanders is still talking about the revolution, but the revolution he's talking about is going to take 50% of their money. And these are the people that was with him 6 years ago. And now they're like, oh, no, that's okay. I don't want that revolution. I signed up for it 6 years ago. Because they see that the middle class, under Sanders' policies, are going to have to pay for everything. He's totally eviscerating the middle class through his health initiative, through his health policy, all that kind of stuff. And that's why Elizabeth Warren was like, I can't deal with that. That's too much for me. That's the bridge too far. I can't do that. And so here we are. Clyburn comes in and saves the day and brings us the guy that's going to get us to the promised land. Okay? And Biden, quite honestly, I've always said Biden, Nikki, you're the one that was like, hey.
He didn't want to be the president. If he had to be convinced. Thank you, Clyburn, like we've been saying. And, now that he looks like, it's like very similar to what people think that they're used to. So that's what they're going for. And this is a whole situation where there's been this push for this vote of fear. Oh, we got to vote for who we think is going to win, not for who you think is going to be the best president, because the polls say that everybody is in line with all the things that Bernie Sanders is talking about, and not necessarily with what Biden is talking about. But now that they think that he's got a chance and he's the one who's got the closest and best ability to win, which has been the push from the Democratic side this entire time, because they thought that would be the one thing that would get him there, and it has. Fair and square. So, if he's going to be the Democratic nominee, everybody's going to get behind him. There's no reason not to vote for Biden.
Well,
so that's great. It's just not coming with all the things that people say that they want, which is unfortunate. They're voting against what they say they want because they need the win. And that's very short-sighted as far as I'm concerned. But, it's going to be what it's going to be. I'm going to be all right either way. But Trump could be here 4 more years. I'm going to be all right. Black people's going to survive. You feel me? We've had it worse.
We always hail from the ashes. We're great things. But listen to this, though. The things that Sanders was saying that he wanted, the things he was pushing for, trust me, would not have been able to make it through the House, Senate, and the House of Representatives. So even those things would have been hard because there are some Democrats that are saying Bernie's positions would not fly in their own districts. So they wouldn't be able to support Bernie's positions even if he were elected president because they were so far to the left of where their respective jurisdictions are. Mm-hmm. Got that. And so they needed somebody that would be able to work with both Republicans and Democrats to move an agenda forward.
Well, we're about to find out.
I'm
looking forward to it.
Hey, but here's the challenge that I have, right? And I pray that this is not the case. And if you have an opinion on this, give us a call, 323-503-2070. Here's the problem, and I hope this is not the case, because I saw this 4 years ago with the last election.
Oh, my God. I know you are not comparing. First of all, Biden is way better than Hillary. I ain't worried about him out here lying. I ain't worried about him out here just at a power grab, okay? I ain't worried about here trying to get what he has deserved because of what happened to him before, and now he's out here. That was a totally different situation.
You ain't got no love for Hillary?
No, not none. Not none. This woman disappeared, and every time she reappeared, it was just to tear somebody down, to make snide comments. I don't know what y'all see in her. Her last name, she's not worth much to me. Now, Biden is somebody different. I can trust him. I don't think he's out here trying to do wrong. I just don't think he's going to move the ball very far forward. That's my only concern. But he's going to be a fine Democratic president. He's just not going to be the greatest Democratic president. And that's where it is, like, as far as, like, this whole, oh, no, and it's not going to be like last year when they wouldn't vote for Hillary and they should have voted for Hillary. Forget Hillary.
No, I think Hillary would be great.
We had a totally different situation. People are going to coalesce behind Biden as long as he doesn't try to keep this whole, walking down the middle line doesn't mean that he's too far to the right.
But let's dig in on this a little bit. First of all, I can't believe you don't like Hillary. I love Hillary. I'm a Hillary Clinton fanatic. But that's fine. Love her. She would have been a great president. Love her. And she would have been the first female president. We'd had a nice female president.
So we don't need no affirmative action hires for the first female
Oh,
president.
my God.
Just whoever first walked up here. So what?
From the woman.
Chisholm would have been the first woman president. Jesse Jackson would have been the first black president. You know what I mean? Like, there's people have run. People have run not won.
Let me ask you this, because this is just not an opinion of mine. This is an opinion of a lot of different pundits and talking heads. This is serious business. We're trying to get this guy out of the White House. How are we going to do it if Sanders continues to be divisive in his language?
Y'all keep saying that about in a primary when all it is about comparing and contrasting and saying what you have that the other candidates don't have. That's natural. It's political. So to be like, oh, when he does it, he's really getting at Biden, and when Biden does it, he's just saying what's true.
Biden doesn't do that.
Everybody does it. Everybody does it. They have to compare and contrast and say, he has to say, you know what Bernie's talking about? He still hasn't said how he's going to pay for it. They all have to say the things that are going to be like sticking points. It's natural. It's political. And it's for the people to decide who they want. Not for everybody else to tell them, well, you got to vote for this person because this one's going to win and you got to do this. Like, everybody's tried to color it. Or you got to do this because this is what black people are voting for Biden, so make sure you vote for Biden. Or, you know, like all of this talk has been like such conjecture that is also turned to color the actual results of the race as well. And it doesn't matter. It is what it is.
I don't see Biden out here slaying Bernie Sanders.
And I don't see Bernie out here slaying Biden.
Lies! Come on, Nikki. Every time Uncle Bernie opens his mouth, he's...
don't do it.
Biden,
You're not good at it.
Biden is... Hey, Q, look at this. Biden is taking money from the millionaires. For the billionaires. The establishment.
That's not skewering him. That's just saying the facts. That's comparing and contrasting. All his donors are mostly small donors. And then Biden has the support of some millionaires. All he's doing is saying that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay, guess what, though?
That's up for everybody else to decide if they care about that or not. The voters to decide if they care about that or not.
So here's where this is, I call BS, okay? And this is for all you listeners out there that want to see that you have to read between the lines and call people BS on stuff, okay? Because if you don't know, you don't know, but now you know. Sanders is full of crap on this. Whether you are a billionaire, a millionaire, or no heir, okay? You can only give a certain amount to a federal candidate. Because you're a billionaire, don't mean you can give $1 million to a federal candidate. Mm-hmm. There's a limit of $2,600, whatever that is, for a federal officer. So I've maxed out, and a millionaire probably maxed out, and a billionaire probably maxed out. We can all give only the same amount. Mm-hmm. So whether you're a billionaire, millionaire, or no heir like me, you know what I'm saying? We can still only give $2,600.
Okay, his point is the support. So you keep saying it like it's the actual money. It's the support. He's saying I have a grassroots movement, which is legit. He's saying that you're getting money from people. He didn't say about the man. He didn't say you're getting $1 million from them.
He has millionaires supporting him too. Mm-hmm. Sanders does. Mm-hmm. Okay? He has millionaires supporting him. And I'm sorry, if I make money, why can't I support somebody that I have my American right to do? What's wrong with having people that support you? It's not the people. It's not the billionaires. The issue is not billionaires. It's what the billionaires are doing. Are the billionaires investing in communities? Are they paying taxes? Are they doing that? You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So Sanders is hypocritical, and I don't like it. Let's move on.
That's not hypocritical.
You don't think so?
In the last few days, Senator Cory Booker and Kamala Harris both endorsed Joe Biden for president. They had no shortage of effusive praise for Joe Biden. Watch.
I am, with great enthusiasm, going to endorse Joe Biden for president of the United States. We need a leader who really does care about the people and who can therefore unify the people. And I believe Joe can do that.
Our divisions as a country is our weakness. We need the candidate that can best unify all of us, and that is Joe Biden.
Hey, I appreciate those endorsements.
You're being cynical.
I
can hear it.
Well, you know what? You know why? Because Joe Biden didn't need those endorsements. That's
facts.
Cory Booker and Kamala Harris came through like, can we get some of that black vote that you be getting?
Sorry.
It was like, hey, we also believe in Biden, and we would love some cabinet positions, possibly VP. We're here for you, Joe. But yeah, that was cute. That was cute that they came out together at the same time to endorse him. But yeah, it wasn't like the Amy and Pete situation, which had a different kind of impact. It was like, we've stopped and we're endorsing. Like, you know, and not like their endorsement doesn't mean anything, but like I'm saying, he didn't need it. I feel like they needed to endorse him to get those accolades.
I don't see how the endorsement moved the needle. Right. I don't see how it moved the needle.
It was like, help us.
Yeah, I don't see how it moved the needle, but I can't.
Don't forget about us, Joe.
U.S. Supreme Court. Your potential appointment, you know. But let me ask you this. Let's dig on this a little bit, because I think Senator Kamala Harris had a point, and I don't know. I don't know what it meant, but I think it's something certainly worth talking about. She said the reason why she waited, which is valid to me, is because the girl love. You know, she wanted to make sure Klobuchar and Warren was out, you know, before she went in. So I think there was some girl love there, you know, some girl love, you know, to make sure that she wasn't crossing over the girl love. And I can respect that. You know what I mean? I think that is, I can absolutely respect that. You know, she's like, hey, because they have to see each other. They work together on the floor. You know, women have to stick together there because there's only so many of them on the Senate, you know? Yeah. And so there's this girl love, you know, thing.
Guess. I mean, I feel like only if you really believe one of them would have been a better president than Biden. If that's not your position, then it's kind of like, it's you know, it's like, oh, because we would have had the, like, you know, like the same reason why it's like, don't just vote somebody in there just to be the president because they're a woman or because they're black or because you know what I mean? Like there's so many reasons where it's just specifically identity and not related to their policy. That's like, why do that?
That's true. Yeah. We got a caller. Let's go. Hi. Thanks for calling in. Voice of Reason on Intersection.
Hello. Is this me?
This is you. Hi. Thanks for calling in. Who are you? What say ye?
How you doing? This is Mickey Knox calling from the chat room.
Hey, Mr. Knox.
This conversation throws me for such a loop because from where I'm sitting, now I don't know either of you two's true background, but just as a black American.
Yes.
We are playing a game of Monopoly with white people who cheat. They take money out the bank when they want to. They skip the go to jail cards when they get them. They put extra hotels on their property. They steal money from you. They do everything evil. Mm-hmm. And yet you two are sitting here talking about playing in their game.
Mm-hmm. Like, definitely. That's the only way you can change anything is to participate in it.
No.
So I don't know how you would change change it from the outside of it. And we are talking about the government here. Of course, the government has all these reasons for us not to trust it. Like, duh.
We're not talking about trust. We're talking about what's happening. We're talking about the reality that we are living in. The reality that had an innocent man executed a couple of days ago in 2020.
Yes.
So this is not 1960. This is not 1873.
Mm-hmm.
The same things that were happening then were happening now. And if you're playing the game with someone who is always cheating, but somehow you think playing by the rules are going to get you somewhere, that's insanity.
So you're
now he just said that Hillary was his friend. Hillary was part of what happened to black people over the last 30 years. Okay, Joe Biden. You got black people who can seriously look you in the face and tell you, man, we got to vote for Joe Biden because he's the lesser of two evils. Are you crazy? Trump is actually the lesser of two evils.
Well,
Trump ain't did nothing to black people, but we can point out everything that Biden has done. We can even point out where Bernie has been an accomplice to what Biden has done. So for us to be sitting here as intellectual people, even discussing this, and let me just get profane and take it to the hood for a moment. We don't even allow people in our lives to get away with less than that. If a nigga steal $5 from you, you ain't fucking with that nigga no more. He a bitch-ass, trick-ass nigga. You might kill him for $5. But what these people have done to us over 30 years, we are still sitting here talking about voting.
Yeah.
No, what you do is...
that's right. And we're going to continue talking about voting.
Over. You
Listen,
voting for who? The people who keep doing this to
So who is your alternative?
First of all, both can be done. Both can be done.
Okay. Right.
Both can be done, and I would love to.
They're not mutually
exclusive. I would love to know a
exclusive.
time when we, as black people, have not had to choose between the lesser of two evils.
Right.
Exactly. That's my
well,
point.
it's not. I'm
My
saying
point
it's not.
is
It's not coming.
that. Do you listen? My point is to stop doing that. Quit telling me about you going back to your husband after he smacked you in your face. I'm telling you. Stop going back to him. You have to go to the shelter.
So are you saying? So are you saying not? Are you? Is your suggestion? Is your recommendation not to vote? Because right now we're talking. Hold on. So right now we're talking. Right now we're talking about voting, and there's two potential candidates: Bernie Sanders and Mr. Biden. So are you saying? And are you saying Trump? That's right. So are you saying the alternative? Are you saying not to vote?
Yes.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why can't you cast a ballot and also do the things that you're saying? Why can you not do both?
Okay, here's why. Because I am not voting for someone who is going to harm me. Biden will harm me.
You already have Trump in there.
Okay, by not voting, you're also leaving yourself up to whatever happens as well.
Absolutely.
You're not listening. You're trying to work from the side of fear. And excuse me.
No, we're trying to work from the
personally.
We're not working from the side of fear. We're working from the side of democracy. Call us back. We got to go. We've got 1 more minute before we have to go. So call us back next week, and so we can finish this conversation. Because Mr. Knox, I want to hear your voice, and I want to keep digging in on this conversation.
I don't think our positions have to be mutually exclusive.
That's exactly right. He's absolutely right.
This is The Intersection with Senator Isadore Hall and Nikki Florez on Dash Radio.
Where are those for?
It's for you.
Keep your hands, okay? Come over here, honey. It's not gonna hurt.
Body cam video captured the moment an officer restrained 6-year-old Kaya Roll with zip ties before placing her in a police cruiser last September. She was accused of kicking and punching staff members, though some seem puzzled by the arrest.
The restraints are being necessary.
The officer acknowledges she's the youngest person he's placed in custody.
She's 6. Now she has broken the record.
That officer, Dennis Turner, was fired days later. Kaya's case and that of a 6-year-old student with special needs taken into custody in Jacksonville earlier this month.
Yeah, how do you hog tie a 6-year-old child?
Yeah, former Officer Turner is a piece of shit.
Straight up
and down.
Straight up. I mean, how do you do that? This child is going to be traumatized for the rest of their lives, of her life.
If you ain't never seen the school to prison pipeline that you may have heard about, this is exactly what it is. These school resource officers and also the teachers and the principals, like everybody is complicit in this. Because what they did was they tried to have the policeman come and scare the little girl into acting right because she was too out of control. First of all, you're a teacher and you're a professional.
Right.
You need to have methods and ways to handle this
this
situation. If she's a problem child, you need to find out why she's a problem child. You need to work at that.
Right.
But what they do, which has been done through elementary on up through high school, is they try and have, we're going to call the school resource officer in here to give you a talking to. The school resource officer ain't going to do no talking to them. They're here to just trump it up and haul off babies.
Yep, haul off babies, take babies.
For battery?
And
you're going to charge a 6-year-old with battery.
Makes no sense at all. None.
And the only reason that former Officer Turner was let go is because he didn't do the protocol correctly. Not because he arrested a baby.
A 6-year-old child.
Not because he zip-tied a baby who had calmed down by the time he got there.
Yeah.
But because he didn't call his superior and make sure it was cool to take a under 12-year-old, he's supposed to get to the okay for somebody to do that. How is it okay for you to haul anybody's baby off to school, off to jail like that?
It's not okay, and that's why we're speaking truth to power here, because it's not okay. And unfortunately, the only reason why this is exposed is because somebody brought attention to it. I'm quite sure that there are many other cases like this that we don't even know about.
No, there's been plenty of cases.
This is craziness.
And in all these schools where they want to increase the police presence, and this is for kids. No, it's not serving kids.
This is crazy, and I got to tell you, I'm glad that we're bringing light to this and casting light to this. This doesn't make any damn sense whatsoever. I'm Senator Isadore Hall.
I'm Nikki Florez.
And you are on The Intersection. We're on The Voice of Reason on Dash Radio. Thanks for tuning in to us. We hope that you will tune back in this time, same time, next week. Until then, be nice to people, and God bless you. We're out.